Okay. How far down do you row when you practice?
Every practice?
Yeah, like tonight, how far down?
It depends. This morning we went down to the start, 4 miles down,
So down to the bridge?
and to the bridge, and then back and forth. But if it wasn't as foggy, we probably would have gone further because we kind of went back and forth.
We live close to the river, so
Oh.
go down. What are you gonna say?
Well, it depends. I mean, there's different kind of workouts. Like this morning was sort of longer and lower intensity, and then but sometimes we'll do like 5-minute pieces or 8-minute pieces, in which case we just sort of be going back and forth. And so how far down is the lighthouse? Or far?
The light, yeah.
It's out in the middle of the.
We've gone to there. We've gone there before, but
Yeah.
All the way.
The white lighthouse or the red brick one that's out there. There's a sort of a block of a building in the middle of the
Yeah, it's out in the middle of the water.
in the middle of the water, sort of right between the. Right,
how far is that one? Pretty far.
That's pretty far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might have been the other one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. A long way. We're going. All right, here we are. Okay. This is off the record, just so that we know we want to spell your name correctly. Could you tell us your name and how to spell it in your class?
Sam Brooks, Brooks. class 2001 senior.
Congratulations, you just graduated. Right?
Yep. Well, took my last exam anyway. But
Okay. You won't get them here, will you? Or you
no,
well,
well, it sort of works out every other year. This year, the race is before graduation, so we have a few days to hang out and graduate. Yeah.
How did you get started in rowing?
I started in high school at Phillips Exeter Academy, my sophomore year, which was my first year there. There's rowing was sort of been in the family for a while. My father rowed. Actually, he rowed for Harry here. My older brother rowed at Exeter and here as well for a little bit. And I was a swimmer and played water polo and swam, and then didn't really have a spring sport, so I figured I'd just check it out. I'd seen the racing before, and gone down to like Head of the Charles with my father and watched my brother race a few times. So thought I'd check it out anyway, and I really enjoyed it and went from there.
Can you tell us your position on the boat? I know what this is, but can you tell us your position on the boat and what's the responsibility of that position?
I'm the stroke seat of the boat, and I suppose the responsibility is to try to set down a good rhythm, keeping it long and basically just keeping it easy for everyone else to row hard. For me, it's I'm very comfortable there. I don't think it's any harder really than the other seats, but I guess some people aren't as comfortable because you're not just watching someone row, but in front of you. But yeah, I mean, I sort of look at it as just setting up a good rhythm for everyone else to be able to pull hard and make it easier for them, and to hopefully lead the guys down the course and race hard and keep the stroke ratings where we want them. Get the stroke rating up high at the end of the race when we need to sprint home, and yeah, that's about it.
You just finished your spring season. Can you tell us how you did?
We did well. We got second place at the Eastern Sprints, which is the big race at the end of the season before this, and we had one loss in our dual season to Princeton, who we lost at the sprints, and it's disappointing not to win, especially senior year, sort of last chance. I think we thought we had a pretty shot at it. We were a pretty fast boat, and we'd beaten crews like Brown, who were quite fast as well. But we had a great row, a great race at sprints. Is really aggressive and strong, and that Princeton boat is just very fast. So I don't think I think it would have taken a lot to have been able to beat them, and I think they were the faster boat. So, and second place is, especially this year, was quite a fast field. So it was respectable.
What do you think makes a good oarsman?
What makes a good oarsman? I think there's sort of different types of oarsmen. You know, there are those guys who just can feel the boat quite easily and have a good feel for the water, and are just really smooth and sort of make it easier for other guys. You know, it sort of depends what kind of boat you're in, but in an 8, you know, there's 7 other guys pulling with you. So if you can make it feel smooth and easy for the other guys, you're going to be able to, you know, you're going to benefit the whole boat. So there are those guys who are just smooth and you know, have pretty good rhythm and keep it easy for the other guys. And then there's also those guys who are just, you know, just great racers, really good sort of aerobic capacity, and just great athletes who can really pull hard on the oar and do it over and over again for 2K or 4 miles, whatever it may be. And of course, if you can combine the two, then I think you've got a great oarsman. Yeah.
Can you tell me about Harry's rowing style? You said this is another generation here. But what do you think of his style of coaching?
His style of coaching, I think he keeps it quite simple, but in terms of, you know, what it really comes down to is just going out there and pulling hard. You know, just being really aggressive and working hard and just outworking the other boat and just racing really hard. And you know, I mean, it sounds quite simple when before races when he says to us, you know, we just go out there, pull hard right from stroke 1, you know, and just be aggressive all the way down. And it's obviously a little bit harder to execute when, you know, when it starts burning and you know, and it's a long race and in that sense, but he really does, you know, that's what it really comes down to. And it's you know, you see a lot of other coaches just trying to different little like gimmicky kind of drills and like race plans. You know, we're going to do this here and this here, and trying to do all these little technique things that they think will give them all this extra speed, and you know, and he does, you know, he does help us with technique, and of course that matters. But when it comes down to it, he's such a competitor himself, and you can just feel it being around him, that it really just instills this sort of aggression and competitiveness in the rest of us that I think ultimately is why he's been so successful.
What does it feel like to be in a fast-moving 8?
It feels great. You know, when it's really going well, it almost feels easy. I don't know, it's like, you know, you're working hard, but you can sort of feel that everything you're doing is making the boat go fast, and it's just real smooth. You can feel the speed. I don't know, it's sort of hard to explain, but you know, and when everyone's doing it together in an 8, which is, you know, the fastest type of boat out there, it just feels great. I don't really know how else to describe it.
Well, you're into your final week of preparation before the race. How do you feel the crew's done?
I think we're doing quite well. Training's gone great. You know, we've in the past, you know, like last year, I can remember having a couple of practices where things just weren't going, you know, too well, and we were sort of trying to get things back together towards the end of the season. And this year, it's really been, we've really just been right on it almost every practice, and being really aggressive right from the start of the practice to the end. And you know, things are going well. The boat seems to me like it's moving very well. A few more days of hard training, and then sort of a few days of resting before the race. And hopefully things will go well. But you never know. You know, Yale's always fast and aggressive here, and you know, they've had 3 weeks down here training pretty hard. Yeah, it'll be a tough race.
why do you think you'll beat, if you do, I don't want to assume too much here, why do you think you'll beat Yale?
Well, if we do, of course. I think, you know, most, if not all of it, has to be Harry. He just something about him makes boats go fast, and especially over the 4-mile distance. He trains us really hard, but really effectively. And I don't know. He just I just think there's just a lot of competitiveness around this program that you just learn to just keep racing hard, and you know, ultimately I think that's why we have success down here. I don't know, I mean, you know, obviously they train hard and everything as well, and you know, I can't say that man for man we have better guys or anything like that. You know, that wouldn't be fair. You know, I just wouldn't know that. But I don't know, it's just I think we get really up for this race, and I mean, I suppose the winning tradition also under Harry, just something about it, you know, you just want to win. Winning's better than losing. I don't know.
Great, thank you very much. Red light, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna start. Don't you have a drink?
Sorry, yeah.
Just this is off the record, but we just want to make sure we spell your name. Could you tell us your name, spell your name, and tell us your class as well?
Yeah, it's Hugo Mallinson. It's HugoMallinson. I'm a junior.
Are you okay? Are you?
Yeah, just
So-
look at him, don't look at him.
Good.
Yeah.
Forget about me.
Okay. How'd you become an oarsman?
I rode in high school. I went to Exeter with Sam and Mike, actually. So it's 6 in the stroke. Nice, 4 seat in the stroke. And I started freshman year, and I just kept doing it. So when I came to college, it was kind of a natural, just, you know, something to keep doing. I figured I'd try it out, and you know, still enjoyed it in college. It was obviously, you know, a little more of a time sink, but still worth it, I think. So
What class are you in again? I'm sorry.
I'm a junior.
You're junior.
Yeah.
What is your seat on the boat, and what do you think the responsibilities of the seat are?
I'm the 7th seat, so I sit behind Sam, who's up in stroke. And I guess your 7th seat, I mean, your strokes is obviously setting the rhythm, and I think the 7th seat's responsibility is kind of to deal. You're sort of the intermediary between the stroke, who's setting the rhythm, and the rest of the boat that's, you know, maybe not completely under control. So I mean, that's what you always say, you know, that the 7th seat's the guy who holds it all together. But I don't know how true that is, but you're the guy who's backing up Sam. So when the rate comes up or something, or when Cahill will call a rate up and say, okay, we got to go here, Sam will bring the rate up, and I've got to go up with him, and we've got to be the 2 guys who are sort of supporting each other, so the rest of the boat will come up with us. Because it takes a while for the rate to sort of propagate down the boat. You know, the bowman might take a few strokes to get with it. So the idea is to help the stroke just keep things steady and not get flustered.
What do you think about Harry's coaching style that makes him such a winning coach?
It's tough to say, and we spent a lot of time thinking about that. it's one of the big topics of conversation, frankly. He's definitely different from other coaches. Certainly, coaches I've had, he's a lot less talkative. You know, he just excuse me. He just doesn't really say very much. He'll watch you row for a long time and maybe say 1 or 2 things, but I think that commands a lot of respect. Just doing that, because he talks so rarely that when he does talk, you listen, and you get the feeling that he only says the things that really need to be fixed. You look at some crews; they'll all row exactly the same way. Every single rower's, you know, they've been set in this certain stroke that they row, and Harvard crews tend to be a little more of a mishmash, but they still go fast. And I think it's because Harry just looks at the boat and finds the things that he knows are going to screw things up and fixes them. But otherwise, he just lets you do your own thing. So there's much more. I think there's much more responsibility, much more trust. I think that he shows for us. He's willing to, you know, he believes that you can go out there and row as fast as you can and as well as you can, and that, you know, he's not going to micromanage. He's not going to tell you to change little things. He's just going to let you do your own thing and just try to get the whole boat going well.
just finished your season. How do you think the boat did?
I think we're all pretty pleased with the way we did. We would have liked to do better. Obviously, we would like to beat Princeton, and we'd hoped we could. We were about the same margin off at sprints that we were when we raced them in the dual race, and I think we picked up a lot of speed, but they did as well. But we started off well. We were definitely glad to beat Brown. Our first race of the season was a big win, especially for, I mean, everyone was expecting us to get just destroyed, so it's a big boost. And I don't think anyone really expected us to do particularly well, so definitely good for morale. And we got a couple. So we had 3 sophomores in the boat. We raced Brown. I mean, that's a pretty young boat, just 2 seniors, so it's promising, and definitely promising for next year.
Anything that you've been racing now for a number of years? You've been racing for this is your 3rd year, right?
Yeah.
With Harvard. Any anecdotes, any bizarre things that happened, or interesting turn of events in the course of your either in a race or a practice?
Right. Let's see. Definitely had some weird stuff. Stuff happens at Yale. I remember last year at Yale, I don't know, maybe 500 meters in, I completely lost control of my oar, just caught it on a wave, and it was kind of floating out in front of me for, I don't know, half a stroke. And there's that moment of panic, where because the race is definitely not decided in the first 500, but there's this oar floating there, and everyone else is barreling away at 38 strokes a minute. You're still up sprinting, and I had no idea what was going on. I could have lost the race right there. Stuff like that gets you a little thrown off. But I think I've actually been pretty lucky, knock wood, and not having anything really terrible happen or anything really surprising. We've been pretty lucky there.
Can you describe the feeling of being in a fast-moving 8?
It's great. And that's kind of the thing that keeps you going, because you're always spend a lot of time practicing when your practices aren't going very well or things aren't going right. But when it's so rare, and even in a given race, for a whole race it won't feel great, but definitely be a time when the boat's just moving well and it's just easy. Like this, you can work the same, just as hard in 2 different races, and one race can feel really, really easy and one's really hard. And it totally has to do with how the boat's moving together. And there's just, all of a sudden it'll just kind of click and everything will start moving, and the boat just feels like it just sits there and just glides right along. It's not rushed, it's not choppy, it's not bouncing around, it's just gliding right along, and everything you do just makes it go faster. But it's, like I say, it's it's this elusive thing you're always looking for. You just hope you find it early on and maintain it. I think that's one thing we're good at generally. It's one thing Harry coaches a lot, is just finding that rhythm and just getting into a good rhythm. And Sam especially is really good at that. He's got a great rhythm, really easy to follow. Once we all get going there, it just, I say this year more than any other, it just felt great for a large percentage of our races. There've been big stretches where we're just gliding along like that.
I can probably bring it down now. I think it's all right. A couple more questions. Yeah, 2 more questions. You're in your last week of preparation before the race. How do you feel the crew's doing?
I think we're feeling pretty confident. We had Jason out yesterday. Actually, he was sick. He just got here today. But I think we're feeling good. We did some pieces yesterday morning with our lightweights and our freshmen. Well, all the boats actually. All the crews were out yesterday morning and moving really well. We just do some steady state today. We'll probably do some longer work this afternoon, some harder stuff. But I think everyone's feeling good. Everyone's pretty cheery. No big personality conflicts or anything. And I think we're feeling confident. We did a good time trial piece on Friday afternoon, a 4-mile piece. It's about what we'll do on Sunday, and that felt really good. And it's nice to know that we can get through that piece, because then all you have to do is tell yourself, "Oh, I just do that, but just pull a little harder." So.
Can you tell me what steady state? I keep hearing this.
Oh yeah, it's the name's kind of deceptive. Well, not deceptive. I mean, it is steady. The idea of steady state is you go out at what we call about 2/3 pressure, just 2/3 of your, the hardest you can possibly pull. Usually your heart rate's about 3/4 of your maximum heart rate. It's just it's a pace that you can maintain for as long as you want, basically, and you're well below your anaerobic threshold for your heart rate, so you're not you're dealing with lactic acid as fast as you're generating it, so your muscles aren't fatiguing. I mean, they're fatiguing, but they're not to the point where you can't row anymore. So you go out for a steady state row, 2-3 times a week to just keep your heart rate up, strengthen your heart rate, build an aerobic base so that when you're up at higher rates, you'll last longer, especially for a race like this where you're going for 20 minutes. I mean, it's more than 3 times longer than our standard races, so you got to have a good aerobic base to just be able to maintain your power for 20 minutes. But it also kind of flushes out your system. Like after a race, we race on Saturdays, and Sunday or Monday we'll come down and do an hour and a half of steady state to just clean all the gunk out of your system. Just makes you feel good. Like after the piece, you just feel much better, refreshed, just kind of ready to go at it again.
Well, this is the last question. Why do you think, assuming you do, why do you think you'll beat Yale?
It's funny because you always try to not trick yourself, but you always try to tell yourself, why I'm better than that crew. And it might be, we finished better than them at sprints, but we finished better than them at sprints last year, and it was still a pretty tight race. But and then you think, well, maybe we want it more, maybe they want it more. Who knows? And then you say, well, maybe it's because they're down here longer, because they are down here a lot longer, especially this year. They're down here 3 times as long as we are. And so you say, oh, well, Yale's going to be terrible because they've been down here so long. But I don't know what it is. But I think it is that second reason. I think it's just that we want it. And they had this, I don't know, I know one guy who goes to Yale I went to high school with, but we don't really talk much about the race, so I don't really have a sense of what goes on in their heads. But they're obviously the underdogs historically, and it's a tough position to be in. And I think there is this feeling for them that we got to do it this year, whereas we have much more of this feeling of, okay, we just got to do it again. It's much easier to do something again. But I think when we get down there on the line, I think we have the confidence in our training, the confidence in our coach. I mean, I don't think ask anyone in this whole program, I think they'll all agree that they wouldn't row for anyone. There was no one else other than Harry they'd rather row for. You have total confidence that he's prepared you well. He knows exactly what needs to be done, and that he sent you out there on the line, prepared as well as you can be prepared, and that he believes entirely that you can beat them. Halfway through the race, you're down a little bit, but tell yourself, look, I know I can do this. It's just a matter of doing it, and having that confidence that you actually can. I mean, I think that's what separates. That's what racing is really. Is just trying to perform up to your potential, and sometimes you perform beyond your potential, and those are the great races. But a lot of the time, all you got to do is just go out there and if you can win, you're trained hard enough, you row technically well enough, and you just have to make sure that you actually do that. And I think we have the confidence to be able to do that, to know that that we can do it, and we just have to go out there and actually execute our race plan.
Great. Thank you very much.
Sure. Oh, probably want this back.
Yeah. Just to start off, could you tell me your name, how to spell it in your class?
Jason Craw, C-R-A-W. I'm a senior.
Okay. How'd you get started as an oarsman?
Well, freshman year, Luka Junic was one of my 3 roommates, and I had run cross country and track in high school, but I was kind of burnt out on that, and I thought I was done with kind of interscholastic sports. But after about a semester of not doing anything besides school and ROTC, I kind of was casting about for something to do. I thought of boxing, and every once in a while I'd go and work out with Luka, and so I asked him one day, what's this crew stuff all about? And he told me, and I kind of got interested, and I went down and he showed me how to erg at one of the athletic centers. And about a week after that, I said, you think the coach would let me try out for the team? And he said, I'll talk to him. And so he went and talked to the coach, who was Adam Holland, and he said, sure, bring him on down. And so I came down, and Adam told me to sit on the erg, and I started, and he went out and coached a practice, and he came back, and I was still there, and told me to finish up another couple thousand meters and come talk to him. So that's how I got started rowing.
What do you think makes a good oarsman?
Harry, I guess, more than anything, makes me a good oarsman.
That's a very Harry-like answer.
I don't know. I don't think he would take as much credit as I give him. I mean, but you know, he does a great job, and you know, Harry and my teammates, I would say more than anything, are the two biggest factors in you know, however good or bad I am. You know, I think that they, you know, I have such great teammates that I'm always getting pushed, and Harry, you know, is the best coach, bar none. So I would say that if I am a good oarsman now, it's because of them.
Tell us your position in the boat and what the responsibilities of that position are.
I'm in the 5 seat, and I guess generally when you think of 5 seat, you think of that's the engine room that they call it, and I get to kind of provide the power to move the boat and also to send the rhythm back to the bow fore. So I need to pay attention and keep up with Sam and Hugo, and just yank on the oar.
You just finished your season. How did you think you did?
I was pleased overall. It was a little disappointing to come in second, because we thought we had a good chance of winning sprints, and that was our goal from the beginning of the season, was to win sprints, and we came up short, and that was disappointing. But you know, we rode a good race, and we had a strong season overall. So I mean, so much of it is gonna. I mean, when I look back 20 years from now on this season, the outcome of this race is gonna be how I judge the season as a whole. It's if we win, it'll be a very positive experience, and if we lose, I'll probably not look quite so fondly at it.
What does it feel like to you to be in a really fast-moving 8?
For me, I think I get more out of relative speed than absolute speed. I love being ahead of Cruz, winning. You know, there's nothing like that feeling when you cross the finish line first. You know, when you've handled the conditions better, it's incredible. You know, just to be with 9 guys that are all, you know, focused on one thing, and then to achieve the goal is it's pretty special when everything comes together.
I almost weaned myself and not quite. Well, you're in your final week of preparation. How do you feel you're faring and the crew's faring going into that last week?
I have to say I'm feeling confident. I think we're really gelling as a crew, and this group of guys, I think, is better relatively over 4 miles than they are at 2K. You know, we're a lot of really good endurance guys, and you know, we're kind of small as varsity crews go. We're short and light, but I'm feeling good about our preparation, and you know, you give Harry a week, and he'll make the boat go fast. So I feel good.
Assuming you do, why will you beat Yale?
Gosh. I guess, you know, it just hard work is. I don't want to. You know, I don't think that we work any harder than them. I guess where we have a distinct advantage over Yale, I think, is in our tradition and our coach. I mean, I don't think that we get, you know, better athletes than they do. It's just, I guess Harry is the main difference. You know, you look at the record, the before and after. It was you know, nearly even when Harry took over as a coach, the cumulative record, and since then it's been pretty lopsided in our favor. And so, I mean, you really have to give the credit, you know, to Harry, I would say.